My name is David Mwangi. I'm the founder of Rabbit Crew Kenya. We are located in Kiserian town. This is a rabbit farm, a very big rabbit farm, one of the greatest in the country, largest in the country. We have kept rabbits for the 6th year now. We have a population, we keep a population of about 1,000 rabbits here. We keep rabbits primarily for meat production. We also keep rabbits for manure and the urine production. Manure is useful for farming and the urine is useful for organic farming as well. And we are introducing the culture, encouraging the mainstream consideration of rabbit meat in Kenya. It's a quality white meat that everybody can take, good for all age groups of people, good in high protein, and all that good things about rabbits. I've been a fan of rabbit meat since I was young. So as a small boy keeping rabbits and all that, rabbits have been largely associated with a venture for small boys. But besides that, the fun part of keeping rabbits has always been eating the rabbit meat, even as a young boy. So when I came to Nairobi and now I'm living in an urban center, I found a butchery that was selling rabbit meat. And I was so excited to buy rabbit meat from Nairobi and go prepare that meat at home. Going back home, 2 weeks later when I wanted a refill, they didn't have the meat. They told me the farmer was giving them as a shortage. So I decided, why can't I keep some for myself instead of getting frustrated when I look for the meat another time. So it started as a venture for my own food consumption. And then I realized they have several advantages that can make it an agribusiness, even so it is not widely practiced by many people. Yes, I'm a trained engineer. I've telecommunications engineering, that's my professional training background. But I've always been more into business, even when I was in the university. So when I found that I can be able to create a business for myself, and the education is not a waste. Even if you're educated, you can use the education that you have and the skills that you learned in school, the way of thinking, your analysis and all that to create a business. Because I've seen even people who have gone into magnificent careers. You go and retire, and most of the time people will retire into farming. Okay, so I've even trained some of my fellow lecturers here who are also looking into retirement ventures of farming, among other things, including rabbits as well. They are supportive venture in other types of farming. Like I've said, they will support you in manure, in urine and all that. So it is one of the many things people can do in part of their farming. And if you can do farming in retirement, you can also do it actively as a career. Okay. Yeah, they said that I don't have work. That is why I'm doing these small businesses of rabbits. But whether you do or whether you don't, people will always talk. Okay, so it's upon you to know what is it in it for you. Okay, so in it for me is that it's a business like any other. Okay, we have people we have also seen stories, and the media is so critical in how we approach these stories. So we see stories of a fellow doctor or a media journalist who left his career and went and started keeping chicken or selling bananas and all that. So besides framing the stories like that, it is that this can also be a business like any other. It is only that it is a business that trades in agricultural produce. So that is a difference in the whole approach. So you can just keep rabbits just as a hobby of it, but there's another way of thinking about the work as a business, that only where the commodity is agricultural produce, and in this case it is rabbits. So that is the only difference. Instead of saying that there is someone who left a white-collar job or a profession and went and started doing farming, we would say that this person has been trained, yes, as a doctor or an engineer, but they have decided to use their skills and their abilities to trade in a different field altogether. Like, we should avoid the notion of people are going to agriculture as a result of lack of employment. Rather than, instead it should be that it is also another venture that people can consider as an active self-employment or a business or whatever it is. So actually you also have agronomists, that's also a career line. So I'm sure the society looks at there's some careers that are more prestige than others. But the way we train a lot of people today and they are still jobless. There are some of my colleagues that we studied with in school who are also in the similar lines of ventures, looking for something for yourself, so that you don't have to say, if I don't get a job actively, or a prestigious job, or a good salary, and I can make that salary by myself, why am I limited not to practice? Okay, so you can have all the skills, you can have all the knowledge, but even the more educated you are, the more educated also you will be in the new venture that you do, because there are skills that you learned in engineering or in medicine that will help you to think or to how to approach another business altogether. So it's just a matter of choice. It's a choice career. It's a choice job like any other. We have about 1,000, not 10,000, but there are so many breeds of rabbits worldwide, and most of the rabbits that we keep in Kenya have been introduced from the Western countries. And we have about 10 breeds. As you go around, you'll be able to see them. And mostly we prioritize the rabbits that are kept for meat production, because that is what we call the core product of our work. The core product, or the core business of why we should keep rabbits. It's not to have fun with them, but rather to make an income out of it. So you prioritize the meat rabbits. And among those breeds, we have one that is called New Zealand White, California White, we have Flemish Giant, Chinchilla, Checkered Giant, we have Palomino, we have Havana, we have American Sable, we have Dutch, and many others. So we have all those being kept in Kenya actively. Any part of Kenya, you can keep them. Rabbits are very easy to look after. Okay, number one, you need very good hatches that can be what we call self-cleaning hatches. If you keep your rabbits clean, and they are collecting the droppings below. You can see there's a space here, and the droppings are there, okay? And the urine will drip and you collect in containers. So when you keep rabbits away from their dirt, you eliminate more than 90% of all the rabbit diseases. So that makes your work easy. Number two, you feed rabbits properly. We say you feed dry feeds. You can see there are strands of hay here. We also have rabbit pellets. You'll be able to see as you move around. And then water. And then, of course, we have you can give treats, small treats here and there. If you have some greens in your shamba, you can give a little bit of it. But the bulk of the diet of a rabbit is hay. Hay you can buy in an urban center. 85% or more of what a rabbit eats should be hay. There may be 10-15% should be pellets. Then water. If you have treats, you can give. If you don't have, then you can try to survive with high quality pellets that you can get. So with that ease of operations, then you can do this venture in an urban center like we are doing it here. We buy all the feeds. We don't grow any of the feeds of the rabbits. Okay. So that makes it the production to be very easy, very good, easy structures in tires, and anyone can do this anywhere in the country. Okay. You would consider the kind of structures that you want to keep. Of course, people have different approaches to how they want to house rabbits. There are people who try to house them in what we call colonies. Like the people do chicken kienyeji in a very big house and you put them down. But that one is a bit hectic in terms of maintaining diseases and in terms of preventing inbreeding, because if you keep males, females together, rabbits are called induced ovulators. It means if a male and a female get into contact, a female does not need to be showing any signs of ovulation, it will just become pregnant. So you'll have a lot of work to keep males and females apart. Sometimes they fight and all that. The other approach is now to use the hatches that you are seeing all over here. So that if you have this hatch with a particular number, you'll know that that hatch keeps a certain rabbit whose father is that one, whose mother is that one, so that you do something we call breeding selection and all those activities. So the first thing is to choose what structure you need to use. And then you choose how you are going to keep them clean. Okay? And you've said one of the ways is to use such kind of meshes with holes so that urine and droppings can go through. So we guide farmers who want to do that. We make such kind of hatches for them. So you can either try to improvise or you can look for the professionals to make for you who are already in that field. So usually those are the two approaches. So the amount of money you spend will depend on the kind of structures that you want. Some people will go there even to import international structures, but they can always be customized with the materials that you have around you. So that is the way to go. The major customers of rabbits is usually the producers, the farmers who are keeping rabbits will be the one mostly to push the product for themselves. Because now, if you go to your local butchery, it is very hard to come across them selling rabbit meat. When you go to the agronomists, they will tell you, do not keep something for an agribusiness if your next door neighbor is not eating it. So nobody is promoting it in a way that we, the producers, would desire. So the end of result of that is that the farmers themselves are the ones who are actively involved in pushing the rabbit meat into the market. So I'll produce the rabbits, and then I'll go on social media. These days it's very easy because we have social media with us. Then I'll push my product there. So it's the farmers who own the product who are more involved in taking it to the market. Currently that is the way it is. In the future we hope that as the farmers put the product out there, more meat retailers, food traders, the hotels and the like, the supermarkets, can also play a role, an active role, because there's a difference between stocking the meat and also stocking and talking about it. Because if you stock it and the consumers don't know about it, then they will not buy. Okay? So the best approach is you stock the meat and then you have a way of talking about it. Why should the people eat it compared to chicken or fish, and they are all white meats? So that conversation needs to happen, and currently it's happening more amongst the producers themselves and as far as they can reach the consumers. So that is the state of the work. You find spots here and there. It is not what we call mainstream. If you go to almost every butchery, you find they will have beef and goat and chicken and eggs and all that. Because the consumers have normalized to go and ask, you people, do you stock chicken? Because they see it every day. And when it comes to the rabbit, we do have only a few, retailers who will say, I think this is a good product, and I have a group of farmers near me who are keeping it that I can help push to the market. So it is not something that the consumers see a lot of the time in very many butcheries, for them to go to every butchery and ask, do you have rabbit meat here? Because it's not something they see on a daily. So we have a low population of farmers who keep rabbits for meat. As well, we have a few retailers who keep the meat. So it's a situation of, should we have more consumers first? Should we have more producers? As it is, the interest is growing as much as the people who are pushing the product in the market is also growing. I've been able to serve hotels in the process personally, or even some butchers here and there, on and off. Today they will get 10 kgs, tomorrow they will ask for 15, another time 25, another time they'll go silent for 2 months, then they'll come back. So that has been the nature of the rabbit business in reality. We do have what we call, of course, we have the policy level of, promoting the work. Okay, if you go to the government, maybe you find them talking about rabbits in the CBC as a venture for children. So you will not find, if you talk about government subsidies and vitu kama hizo, you will never hear the president or the minister of agriculture talking about rabbits. Maybe they'll talk about dairy sector, chicken, because that is much more, it's a bigger industry than the rabbit industry. So you find it is more of a niche field at the moment. Just like the way you'd have the usual cabbages, there are a lot of them in the market. But if you visit some of the supermarkets in the market in Nairobi, you find that there are some that will sell the red cabbage. You see that dynamic. So you will never hear anyone talking about the red cabbage as much as you hear people talking about the usual white cabbage. So it's that dynamic where people will talk about more of chicken and less of rabbits. The same way you say, but doesn't mean that there's if you even look at the mainstream ventures like chicken, I'm hearing, I was reading somewhere on the media, there's a shortage even of eggs in the country. So they are saying they're importing some eggs due from Uganda because the eggs that are produced in the country are few. So as much as the ventures of chicken are more marketable, even in those ventures, people are not producing enough. So it's a matter of the state of where the country is, what people can be able to do, which ventures can be able to invest in. And most of the time people will choose to invest in the popular ventures than the niche ventures like the rabbit product. Rabbit meat is cheaper even than beef at the moment. In most places around Nairobi, they're selling it at around 800 shillings per kg. Of course, that's on average. In some upmarket places you may find it over maybe 1,000 or more, depending on now the level of the restaurant where you are. But for the usual butchery outlets around everywhere, you find it at around 800. Beef around here is about 850 or more per kg, about around 850. The goat meat is almost 1,000. Okay, so the rabbit is actually cheaper. So it's not a cost issue. It's a matter of I don't know how to cook this. People who feel that I don't know how to cook rabbit meat. I don't know. I've never interacted with it. Are you sure that this is serious food or it is just a hobby for boys? So there needs to be a lot of awareness and professionalism in how we push the product to the market. So that is a gap that we have. Number one, we have some of the most important people in the industry of rabbits are the feed manufacturers, because the largest keepers of commercial rabbit ventures are the urban dwellers in Nairobi and such kind of urban centers. They are the majority, more than 90% in Nairobi, or rather in such kind of urban centers. So now, if all the feeds we have are to be bought, then we need professional feed manufacturers who have invested in formulation of rabbit pellets, and that has happened. So we have so many companies around Nairobi who are currently producing quality rabbit pellets, and that is a very important point. So that's also an employment. It's also a new income stream for them. We also have the hay sellers, the people who plant hay in Nakuru, Naivasha, Central Kenya, and wherever, who are exporting it to Nairobi, not just for the rabbits, of course, for the other livestock. So that's also an employment for them. The people who make the rabbitries, the people who sell the accessories of the rabbits, the people who trade in even the breeding stock, because if you start your farm, you will need the rabbits themselves. We also have people who trade even in the meat of the rabbits. I've even got an interest here. Someone says, I want to start an all-white meat butchery, because I have a case of, they say they may have a drive of pushing more of white meat for health reasons. So they will say that now that I've seen rabbits is there, I have a variety of chicken and fish and rabbits. So we have all those small employments here and there, which in due time, as we scale up the industry, will also be much more impactful in the economy.
Brayo anadai tu furaha, akajiambia hatatulia hadi ipate, akapiga maraundi hadi siku moja furaha ikapatikana. Tumefungulia value Hickory C upate furaha. This festive season, dial *423# to reconnect and stay connected to GoTV value for only 599 Kenya shillings.
Kimitei agobo inye ago kimita siginetkei kibaibaitkei ak inoisechigei tuguk cheterter chetesetai eng emetab Kenya ak emotinwek chebo sang. Inyorwech eng DSTV channel 266, Zuku channel 19, GoTV channel 099, Star Times channel 164, Pang eng free to air, Bamba free to air, Azam channel 336 koboto online streaming eng www.kasstv.co.ke.
Kotitinye ng'oliot age tugul kotinygei ak tetutik sirwech sirutiet en oretab email konyo info@kassfm.co.ke anan ko SMS en number 5552 anan ko 30552 ak imwawech kit nechome ak nemechome.
KASS TV, kimnatet.
Tumeshukuru sana kwa wageni wa Lotto Foundation kwa kututembelea hapa. Hatujawahi kutembelewa na watu wengine kama sisi wajane. Tumeshukuru, Mungu ambariki na amzidishe uwe upendo na kwingine mnaenda, na tumemkaribisha tena na tena na tena. Lotto Foundation, tumemshukuru.
Every time you play Lotto, 25% goes to the Lotto Foundation, which supports our fellow Kenyans through various causes. Thank you for your help. Together, we are changing lives. For 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Prepare Party cabin for landing.
I hope there shall be no drama.
Stop doing that! I was so excited to have you here. I would tell you, you're gonna get whooped again.
Who is coming?
You will go.
Ria, are you ready?
Yes, so we have a lot of automation going on in our farm, and it makes the work easier. So you automate the water, you put these pipes that you are seeing, it has a nipple, so the rabbit will press on the nipple and drink the water on demand. So they automatically, they will say that sungura ni wajanja. So they will learn quickly from their own parents. And if a rabbit has never used it before, you just press it and feed it with water, so it will become like a bowl full of water. And as it drinks for the first day, automatically it will press the nipple and more water will feed in. So that is how they automatically learn to use them. So we have that. Then we have also manufactured, we invented what we call a rabbit hay rack. You'll be able to see it so that you can put hay there instead of putting it on the floor and they step on it. So that was our own sort of invention to solve our problem of feeding the hay. You can also use it for feeding the greens. You stack it there and they'll be pulling from the grills. So that makes work easier. So even to look after the 1,000 rabbits, they only need one person to look after because of that automation. So that shows you how easy the work of looking after rabbits becomes with all that kind of automation going on. I would tell them to keep rabbits, but also take them to the market. Because if the moment you come together, you have more power and more abilities together, working together. So the greatest challenge when it comes to the rabbit industry is it is very easy to produce and they multiply very quickly. Starting with a pair of rabbits in January, by December we may be having almost 100 from only 2 rabbits. So the work of rabbits is not production. The work of rabbits is selling. Because like we said, it is a new industry, it's an emerging industry, and we have a lot of producers and very not matching consumption. So I would tell the people that come together to come together, but also to start from the market front, going backwards. I've seen groups where, I think it was in Nyahururu or Nakuru or somewhere, when they came together to work with the rabbit, in the rabbit venture, they started by opening a butchery. Okay, so they will have the butchery that sells the usual beef, the usual chicken and the goats, but also rabbits is there. So that butchery becomes known. As we buy beef there, you can also find rabbits there. So that's their marketing front. And because people eat beef on a daily, the moment people are buying the beef every day, it is also paying the rent for the butchery. So it makes it easy for them to not be strained as they market their meat, as they don't sell every day, to say that they will be in some sort of financial stress. So it becomes a marketing front. As the rabbits grow up, then they will be putting 1 or 2 rabbits there every day, and people will be knowing that that particular butchery sells rabbit meat. And it reached a point, and from what they were saying, they're even selling about 5 rabbits per day. That's a huge operation. In our farm, we sell about 200 per month. So if you divide that by 30, is about how many? Is it 6? So it's those are a group of farmers who are producing up to 1,000 rabbits. And you find that the people that are succeeding in that space, they don't even have to talk about it. That's why I said, again, we don't hear so much of them, because for them, they have already found a solution for themselves. So they produce and they have an outlet. So why should they advertise to everybody? And the production they have is being matched with the selling facility that they have. So that would be my advice. Produce, but with where you are going to sell being in part of your plan. Challenges. If you are starting the production and you don't have a training of how to feed rabbits in dry feeds, how to synchronize their breeding so that you make sure you always have supplies back to back and all that, you have a challenge in production. You may have even some rabbits dying if you don't know how to feed them. So we should advise people, if you want to keep rabbits at a commercial level, you visit an established farm like ourselves, we also do train farmers so that you get trained. It's a small investment compared to the kind of trial and error efforts you can make for very many years to come to learn on your own. And someone else has been that journey and they have made the mistakes that you are trying to make again on your end. So my advice is get trained first so that you know what portions of feeds do I need to give, what times do I need to give it, what quantities, do we need any medications for rabbits and all that. So that when you have that information, then you approach the work as a professional. You know, I usually say, people approach the work of rabbits with what I call juvenile simplicity. That means juvenile is associated with children. So they simplify the work of rabbits as being very simple. It's a venture of small children, the way it has been culturalized in our society. So I would say it's not an adventure for small boys. Try keep 1,000 rabbits like ourselves and tell me how easy it is if you've not been trained on how to do it. And try not to automate and you're keeping 1,000 rabbits and tell me how easy it is to watch 300 bowls like utensils in the kitchen every day. So even your cost of production will go high. So you need a training so that you know what we call the best practices. The best practices include the best housing you can get, the best feeds you can get, the best breeds you can get, and the best farm manager that you can get. Because you can have all the good facilities, but then you employ a small boy from the village who has never gone even through formal education and doesn't know how to measure or to weigh a rabbit and all that. Then you'll be having a very huge gap because it is a person you have entrusted to manage all the factors of your investment. So that would be my advice. We encourage people to travel. We do conduct trainings every other Saturday of the month, and we actually have a training coming Saturday. So we advocate, because right now we do not have farms all over the country. Of course, we have a few farmers here and there, but they don't have yet the facility or the skill that we have that can facilitate a training. We encourage people to travel here. Where there is a will, there is a way. If you want to learn, then you just come and rent a cheap hotel. If you're coming, we have people traveling from Siaya, we have people come from Uganda, we have people come even from the United States to learn. We have people coming from Malindi and Mombasa. So travel from wherever you can. It's only a one-day training, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the training will help you for the rest of your production life. It's a 6 years experience accumulated in an intense day of training, and they also get to know how to slaughter a rabbit, how to eat. They also eat rabbit meat on the same day, and it is part of encouraging, the people to know how to do it properly. So we train people, but if you are a group of 10 farmers or more, we can travel to where you are. That one becomes a bit easier. If you are a group of maybe women or youth or men somewhere, and you are more than 10, we can volunteer to transport some of our training facilities to where you are, and then we can come and train you from there. But if you're an individual, we encourage you to come. If you have to travel one day before, find a hotel nearby and then report to class, it is for your own good. Just come. Yes. I usually say that we do have, of course, we have a lot of online resources. We teach a lot on our social medias, handles on Rabbit Crew Kenya, YouTube, TikTok, wherever. And that's a lot of free tips. But now bringing in that whole knowledge into one package of A to Z. We also written a small book for the rabbit production. We say that the art of farming is physical. You have to do the work physically. Even if you learn online, when you start doing your farming, you can't do it over the phone. You have to do it physically. So we may consider, condensing that training into an online course. That is also in the offering. But if able, there's that touch and feel of the actual rabbit themselves that will help you, the practical bits of the training, you'll be able to get them better if you're able to visit the farm. But we also make an online course for the people that want to learn online, well and good. That may help them to make a decision. Then from there, they maybe visit the farm when they have made that decision. So in the future, we'll have a formal training that is structured in an online portal. We do have our website, so we are planning on that. The effects, actually, rabbits are being championed. I've worked with the climate smart looking organizations this year. And the advantage of the rabbit compared, for example, to beef production. there's what we call meat feed to meat conversion ratio. In livestock like cattle, it's about 18 to 20%. That means if you give a cow 1 kg of feeds, it will give you about 0.18 or about 0.2. You know that conversion, yeah, of weight gain. When it comes to the broilers, they are the highest converters, the chicken, so it will give you about 50%. That is why if you give a broiler chicken 1 kg of feed over whichever period it is that it has been fed the 1 kg, it will give you half a kg of meat. The rabbit is just below the broiler chicken, and it will give you about 0.25 to 0.33. That's very high. 0.33 on the higher side is almost doubling what a cow converts. So that means we need to feed rabbits less compared to how we feed cows. Rabbits also will not be able to pass gas. We hear concerns, sijui kuna methane gas ya ng'ombe, there are vaccinations against that going on. A rabbit will, actually if a rabbit has a problem with the stomach, it just swells. Inaitangwa bloating. It swells and then it will die. So you need to be protective of giving the wrong feeds. That shows you the rabbit will not be giving the emissions that we're talking about. Maybe after the fact of the droppings have come out and all that, but there's a way to manage. The manure is part of your farming anyway. So I would say that rabbits are fit. You know, right now we have decreasing large parcels. Right now we are talking about 50 by 100. The 1,000 rabbits you're seeing here, you can keep them in a 50 by 100 plot where you have a car parking lot and a 3-bedroom house and small structures in the compound. So that shows you that you can incorporate rabbit farming as part of urban ventures, so that as people get less land or even less water sources or feed sources, then rabbits become very much easier to keep. Okay, so that in those aspects, then rabbits will give you an advantage over the larger livestock. And again, with climate change, you're talking about droughts. Cows have to walk very long stretches of land to get their feeds and water and all that. The rabbits, you keep them in a small space. They are here for a very short time. Within 3 to 5 months, you've already slaughtered them. They are gone, and they will convert feeds much more quicker than the other larger livestock. So in those aspects, then livestock like rabbits will make your work of food production very easy, and they also supplement the other farming activities. People talk about kitchen gardens today, and I was looking at one of the leading newspapers today, and the headline was talking about the poison in our food. So we have a concern of people using a lot of agrochemicals. Right now, I was even asking a friend, why is it that nowadays we don't find butterflies the way we used to find them in certain seasons when it is starting to rain? It is because maybe part of it is the chemicals we've polluted in the farming, the rivers and all that. So when you have a rabbit tree like this one, and you have a rabbit urine that you are collecting, it is an organic fertilizer and a biopesticide that you can use on your crops, and you reduce the reliance on those harmful chemicals that the newspaper was talking about. So that is also means that our environment is much more cleaner. So that is the approach and how the rabbits will contribute to a good environment and climate. Actually, you can use everything in a rabbit venture. Like I said, the main product that rabbits were domesticated for is meat. So number one is meat. After you slaughter a rabbit, you get the offals, the intestines, the parts that you're not going to eat. I have a farmer who bought their rabbits from me, just nearby, who keeps a fish pod. Okay, so he has he's collecting the rabbit droppings and then using the rabbit droppings as part of the fish food. In a ratio of about more than 70% of what the fish eat is rabbit droppings. Rabbit droppings are very rich. They are called, the first droppings a rabbit releases are called psychotropes. They are very rich in nutrition. Even a rabbit will eat them again. The first droppings a rabbit will eat, you find it bedding like as if it is grooming itself, and then it will pick the droppings and chew them again. So if they happen to go through and it is not able to eat all of them, then the droppings is a sungura. You collect all of them, you put it in a fish pod, and it will support your fish pod. The urine, we also talk about it, you can use it in your kitchen garden, organic food production. The urine, you can also use as a pesticide to chase away some insects from your crops. So it will reduce your cost of food production, cost of farming, and also the skin, you can process the leather. Some people, I have seen some farmers who are making some leather shoes from the rabbit skin. This is a kutembea kwa nyumba and all that. Some school bags for the children, some bracelets, some key holders with the feet of the rabbit and all that. So And then also the offals, I've seen some farmers process it for dog food. They boil it and dry it or something. And they will make chicken feed or dog food or pig feed from it. So in that way, you actually see that after you slaughter a rabbit, you've used everything from it. But as you start your farming venture, before you get a foothold in the market, you have to start with one thing. So I've seen some farmers who either start with meat, some other farmers will start with breeding selection, so we'll be doing a lot of breeding so that if, for example, you had a group of 10 farmers with you or 15, and one of you is the one who initiated the idea to them, the others will require some rabbits as well. So one of them, people in the group who is more trained than the others, can become what we call a breeder. So they are breeding for them so that the others will also get the rabbits before they're able to hit the market with larger number. So you also need a breeder amongst your group. And then you also do have the manure, like I said. The rabbit manure has the highest nitrogen, even beyond cow manure or goat manure. So if you have a farmer of, you are growing some vegetation, maybe vegetative horticulture, the one that needs a lot of leafy greens like sukuma wiki and spinach and all that, then the manure will be very good for you. So it also keeps a lot of moisture. And it is also what we call, it's a cold applied manure. You take it from the rabbit today and you take it to the soil. It will not burn your crops. So those are the advantages. So actually that is how you use everything in the rabbit value chain. So that is it. Absolutely, you can always do as much as you can to protect your investment. But I would say that you don't need to inflate your operations at the start. If you are starting, most people have, in my experience, most farmers will start very, very small. They will order from us maybe a 12-hatch rabbitry, and they just want to test the waters. First, as a domestic venture for their home consumption of meat, to find that this meat they have been told is good. Is it good for themselves first before they try to sell it out there? So in that phase of starting small, it is akin to just keeping 10 chicken, the way you keep 10 chicken in your home. So
Future plans.
my future plans is to see more people eat rabbit meat. That is a first for us. If more people eat more rabbit meat, it means that the more rabbits we can raise, the more customers we can get. So we cannot increase the number of rabbits that we keep if the number of people who are eating rabbits is also not increasing. I will not. The way to grow a market is, the way to grow this venture is to have all the players in the rabbit value chain playing a part. The consumer is the most, usually they say they are the MVP, the most valuable person in the rabbit value chain, because we can do all these efforts of raising the rabbits and raising them. Even we plan to even do 10,000 rabbits, even 100,000 when that time comes. But that will only be determined in how easy it is to move volumes of the meat. Right now we are doing our retail operations. We produce at the farm, and then we advertise that we have rabbit meat, and then people will order. So we slaughter on a case, order by order basis. You ask, you pick one live rabbit, we slaughter, we send a delivery to you. And it is not scalable. If you are doing that, it is not scalable, because if today I get one order in Kidimani, another one in Kileleshwa, another one in Kitengela, another one in Buruburu, it becomes very hard to coordinate. It is easier if we had shops that are stocking our meat in each of those locations in bulk, and people are buying in bulk every day. That is our vision, that we can get more people eating rabbit meat, perhaps in the mainstream in the future. I'm sure that even the chicken that we eat today so much, at some point maybe it was not known very many years ago. That is true, isn't it? So for the same reasons, I do believe, but we do have a very big conflict when it comes to rabbits. Most of the people will see them as very cute, not to be eaten. They look like pets, you know. Some even say that they look like cats. So we have a long journey of not presenting the cute rabbits to the people more, but presenting the rabbit meat to them more, so that they don't see where it came from, and they'll be able to see the meat and desire more of the meat than the cute rabbit.
Okay, maybe there's one question that I forgot to ask. Maybe what would you like to see maybe the counties, the county governments, and the government doing to support
the rabbit?
Yes.
I would like them first to take it as a serious venture. Okay, I would like them to stop thinking that this is a venture for children in the CBC curriculum, and think of it as a serious agribusiness that can be done as much as people keep chicken or keep goats or keep cows. Then from that mindset, they'll be able to say, how can this agribusiness be strengthened? And number one way I would want them to do is to interact with the people that stock meat, the people who sell meat. Is it government to private partnerships, whatever it is. Let them invite them to the table and sensitize them on why they need to stock rabbit meat as well. So the easiest way for the government to make a landing, the easiest investment that I would want them to make is not mostly to interact with the farmers, but to interact with the people that present the meat to the consumers. Well, right now we do have, this is like the Kenya Meat Commission that works with the, I think is it beef and goats? Yeah. So why can't we have the meat commission of some sort thinking also about the rabbit part of the meat business? So the rabbits are very easy to produce, so they'll be able to, if they're able to pull the consumers, they pull the consumers in whichever way they can, then it will be very easy to pull the producers up, because the producers will not need to be told, they will not need to ask whether rabbits can have a market when they see that there are some people asking for the rabbits at the government or the national level. So they then participate in strengthening this as a solid venture, a serious venture, and a serious investment. It is not a simple investment that I've made here. It costed more than 1 million shillings to set up here. So that is not a children's activity to spend that kind of money for such kind of a farm. So I'll tell them, think of this as a serious venture and detach to make children participate more. Rather, let the farmers be sensitized on its importance of doing that, the rabbit one.